All right, welcome back, Student of the Game podcast. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. All right, back to the Suns and Bucks game, Bucks versus Suns in the finals. Monty Williams, man, let me tell you something. I've been a fan of this guy as a coach, even when he was in New Orleans. Okay, I always felt like he's a real good coach. Doesn't get the credit that he deserves, even though the Suns had the year that they had this year. He still doesn't get the credit that he deserves. But okay, anyways. But when he told DeAndre Ayton, I believe it was right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, he said, hey, listen, you're not having the game that you want because you have high expectations of yourself. And he says, hey, if you can't dominate the game by stats, dominate the game with force. With force, okay? If you're out there against a guard, hey, be a guard. Defend the guard, I mean, that right there, that's some real good coaching advice. I'm not sure if a lot of coaches even give out that advice, but here's the thing. I've always been a firm believer in, guess what? There are multiple ways that you can dominate a game. And it's a lot of times the stat sheet doesn't reflect a player's dominance, Like, check this out. Setting screens, okay? That's not a stat. It should be a stat, okay? Let me tell you, to me, setting screens, like when you have a power forward or a center, you have a big on your team that can set awesome screens. To me, that's equivalent to a quarterback having an awesome left tackle. All right, check this out. I remember back when the Houston Rockets, when they brought Omer Ashik over from the Bulls. All right, a lot of people wasn't excited about that. I was excited about it because I remember when Derrick Rose was playing for the Bulls. Now, let me tell you something. Derrick Rose is fast, one of the most athletic guards ever to play the game. He can blow by and get by anybody, okay? But check this out. Omer Ashik setting screens. Joakim Noah setting screens. Carlos Boozer setting those screens and picks. Guess what? That makes it even tougher for the defender. Can you imagine? Number one, you have to guard Derrick Rose, all right? You can't hand check. Even if you can hand check, you still can't shut him down. You have to guard him. You got to worry about if he's going to cross you left or right, step back, hit the jumper, if he's going to just attack you straight to the basket. Can you imagine trying to decide which way he's going, and then, boom, you got a wide frame like Omer Ashik, bam, just setting picks on you, setting screens on you. Can you imagine that? That's going to hurt, all right? So when they brought him over to the Rockets, I'm like, man, if you notice when he sets the screen for Derrick Rose already can get by a person. He already can create at least a foot of space. When those screens are set, guess what? That 1 feet would turn into 2 to 3 feet, okay? 3 feet of space. Now you're giving him a lot of time to work with. Now, you see what the Suns are doing. DeAndre Ayton setting those screens for Chris Paul. Oh, man, that is phenomenal. That makes Chris Paul's job easier. Chris Paul is already, he can do whatever he wants with the rock anyway. But that just makes the game easier for him. And if you're a defender, guess what? You don't want the game to be easier than it already is for Chris Paul, for a player of his stature. All right, so having DeAndre Ayton set those screens and those picks, man, that's part of dominating with force, dominating the game, because that's not a stat, and it should be a stat. They should say, like, that was a successful screen, all right? Those are important, all right? And I think if they made that a statistical category, I think more people would be more inclined and more motivated to do that, because that is very important in the game of basketball, all right? But boxing out, help defense, all of that. That's what DeAndre Ayton, I felt like he displayed all the way throughout the game. Now, he did not have the dominant game that he had in game one, where he had like 20 points, 19 rebounds. But listen, he was facing against a Giannis who was on a mission. Giannis heard all the talk, everybody talking about how DeAndre Ayton dominated him, okay? So Giannis came out dominating with force and stats. But guess what? DeAndre Ayton, he still did enough as far as dominating with force to help his team win. Okay, those screens. Listen, if he didn't set good screens, guess what? Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they don't get the mismatch of having Brook Lopez or Giannis or Portis on them. Okay, So that's a big thing that DeAndre Ayton is able to do, and just being an awesome teammate, knowing your role, because a lot of times, hey, we all been there, whether if you're playing pickup basketball or organized basketball, and even if it's not basketball, whatever sport that you're into, where it's like, man, I am not having a good statistical game here. But here's the thing: you still got to figure out a way to impact the game. Still figure out a way to impact the game, all right? Without just making it being about you, all right? Impact the game within the flow of the game, so that way you don't got to worry about if you're taking away from Devin Booker shots or Chris Paul shots or Mikal Bridges shots and stuff, right? You figure out other ways to contribute. That's what you should do, and I think that's a good way to look at everything in life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, sometimes in life, we may measure, what's the word I'm looking for? We may measure our success based on the job we have, or a promotion, or how much money we make, or the type of car we drive, or the type of shoes we wear, or the type of house we have, and stuff like that. Listen, let me tell you something. That's not the only way to measure success. All right? You know what I'm saying? That's not the only way. Here's the thing. What type of person are you? Are you a good husband? Are you a good wife? Are you a good boyfriend? Are you a good girlfriend? Are you a good fiance, a good spouse? Are you a good brother, a good sister, a good cousin, a good mother, good father, good grandma, good grandpa, good uncle, good auntie? Did I say cousin? Good. Are you a good best friend? Are you a good human being? Are you a good coworker? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, we get caught up into, all right, well, I'm successful if I have this material things. But what type of person are you? Like you can have all those things and still not be successful to yourself or even to others. But, like that's something to think about, because a lot of times a person's character, that's not getting counted. People will see somebody on social media be like, look at this new vehicle I got. Look at this new house I got and all that. And that's great. That's awesome. But what type of person are you? You know what I'm saying? So success is more than material things. And so in the game too, DeAndre Ayton's success is more than his rebounds, his points, his assists, his blocks. Those are all important things, and I'm not saying you don't need them. But guess what? What's also as important is the things that are not being counted as stats. Setting those screens. How about when a shot goes up, he makes sure he's boxing out Giannis. Giannis had 12 rebounds. That's still awesome. But guess what? If Ayton is not boxing out Giannis like he needs to, hey, those 12 rebounds can become 24 rebounds, right? So those are very, very important things to do. You know what I'm saying? So remember, in life, no matter what it is, or if you're playing a game, no matter what it is you're doing, guess what? Figure out a way to contribute. Even if you're struggling with, you're struggling with your normal contributions that you normally contribute to. Like, let's say if you're a person, you're so used to contributing financially, but let's say right now it's not a good financial time for you, depending on whatever the reason is. Okay, well, are you able to fix things? Are you able to change diapers? Are you able to bathe the kids? Are you able to get up, drop the kids off of school? Are you able to prepare meals? Are you able to wash clothes, fold clothes, do laundry? Are you able to mow the lawn? Are you able to feed the dog, bathe the dog? Whatever it is, figure out a way to contribute. Because guess what? It's always some way to contribute. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. And I know I didn't went on a tangent and stuff here. I'm lecturing, as like my kids say. But what Monty Williams said to Giannis, what he said to DeAndre Ayton, that really hit me right there. Because I'm like, man, this is why this dude here should have been head coach of the year. And even though he did not win the award, he is still, to me, the head coach of the year. All right, the best coach of this year. All right, hands down, seriously. All right, but yeah, and that's something that we should strive to tell each other. It's like, hey, just because you're struggling one way doesn't mean you cannot contribute at all. Find a way to contribute. All right? So you can't always dominate by stats, but guess what? You can dominate with force. All right? Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, but guess what? If you're listening to the podcast right now, we got some more stuff coming for you. All right? But hit that like button and that subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. And guess what? Share your thoughts down below. Tell me, did you think that what Monty Williams said to DeAndre Ayton, did it have any impact on Ayton? Or do you think it's just coach talk? You front in front of the camera. All right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Share your thoughts down below. Student of the game. Peace.